Ben. I'm actually going to give most of the presentation from back by the computer because I need to go through the PowerPoint, but I thought I'd come up here and give a little introduction. Like Brent said, my name is Ben. I recently, about 3 or 4 months ago, started a little organization called the Atheist Youth Movement, and I have a couple slides on it, so we'll go over it a little bit. I went to DeSmet, graduated in 2010, and went to BU this year. It's been a pretty good experience. I'm a philosophy major, and I got some slides on this right now, so I'll just go ahead and start it. That's all right. All right, so there goes the computer. Can you all see that okay? I'm just going to keep it on this view because if I go slideshow, it'll look all distorted. But the name of the talk is Atheism and Bishop Rice, Why It Matters. That'll make more sense as we get into the entire presentation. So I'll just go ahead, get right into it. If it'll let me get right into it. All right. So you're probably wondering why there's an 18-year-old kid giving a talk to a predominantly adult group and at such a wonderful society like the Ethical Society. So I'm Ben Conover, 18 years old, freshman in philosophy major. My interests are kind of all over the place. I'm currently deciding on a double major and looking at some minors as well. I go to Boston University, like I said, where I work with advisor Dr. Charles Griswold, who writes for the New York Times sometimes. And we have a pretty good relationship in the department. It's pretty small. I like it a lot. Like I said, I'm the Chief of Staff of the Atheist Youth Movement. I got some slides on that in a second, so I'm just going to go over that real quickly. I graduated from DeSmet last year with honors, top 30 in my class or so, which probably is how I got into BU. They didn't really tell me, but I'm going to go with that. I also play guitar, just for some fun facts. I play guitar in a band called Faux Pas. We're actually playing tonight, so that's kind of cool. And I also manage, because I'm in Boston right now, and the band's here. I'm also a huge soccer fan. There's my team on the bottom.
Anybody but Manchester United.
Anybody but Man U. And they won yesterday, so that was...
And they advanced in the UEFA Champions League, too.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping they get knocked out on Wednesday. But Chelsea's up 2-0, right, Mark?
That's right.
They're
up next week.
Tottenham just got through to the final 8. If anybody knows anything about soccer, that's a big deal. Alright, so moving on. The Atheist Youth Movement, I'm just going to read this slide basically verbatim. The Atheist Youth Movement is a youth-run organization promoting secular values and skepticism and an improved image of atheists. Currently, we maintain a blog and are looking to expand our organization to include support of atheist secular movements and political issues. We are available to give talks, speeches, lectures to help youth inspiring to express their freedom from religion and to blog about important issues in the religious, non-religious debate and the surrounding topics. So, just to give a little more idea of how this whole organization started, about near the end of my high school career, I sort of started coming out as a full-blown atheist versus being a skeptic, agnostic. And I've had some friends that have been very supportive of that. One of my good friends, Austin Kukuru, and I, and then my friend Justin Dank, who's hopefully will be here a little later to help me out with this, but if not, we'll just roll with it. We decided that we needed to start writing and sort of organizing because coming from a religious high school, things like non-religion don't go over particularly well, as you might imagine. I know quite a few kids at DeSmet and kids in the surrounding area that have a little bit of trouble with their own skepticism and being accepted by their peers. One of our lovely teachers likes to tell students that they're not smart enough to be atheists and things like that. So we're kind of the counterpoint to that, if you will, and we try to balance out the negative with some positive views of non-religion. So the Atheist Soapbox is our blog. We recently got sponsored by the Atheist Blog Roll, which is a collection of blogs put together by, I'm trying to remember his name now. His username is Mo Joey, but I don't know his actual name. But he puts together like all of the top atheist blogs like online and just sets them up so everybody can just get easy access to them. So we recently got sponsored by them. We have 9 writers and contributors right now from Boston University, which would be myself. My friend Mike, who goes to the University of Pittsburgh. Austin goes to Loyola. At the University of Missouri Columbia, we have Patrick Coyne, and at Truman State, we have Woolashotz. We also have writers at DeSmet, St. Louis University, and St. Teresa's Academy in Kansas City. We started our blog at the end of November, I believe, or maybe it was the beginning of November. No, it was at the end of November last year, and we've been averaging 2,000 views a month so far, and that's before sponsorship. It's kind of gone up with this little recent controversy we had. So that's what we've been averaging so far. We have 20 articles posted right now. I think it's somewhere closer to 25. We recently posted Wednesday with an article about Catholicism and capitalism, if you all are interested. There's the link. It's basically a blogspot URL, if you guys know what blogspot is. It's just a little blogging forum. But we decided to buy the username, so now we have atheistsoapbox.com. I don't know how many people actually use Twitter. I barely use Twitter, but there's our Twitter. And our Facebook and YouTube are just under the name of the organization. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. Now I'm going to move on to kind of the topic of today, Mr. Bishop Edward Rice. The subtitle of this is I tried to make it a little funny. I'm not usually very good at that, but how the Atheist Youth Movement became known to the Archdiocese and caused a little uproar. So, I guess that would be about a month ago now, on February 10th, 2011, Bishop Edward Rice came to DeSmet, and he got nominated to come give the prestigious Father DeSmet birthday mass at DeSmet. So, things were going great from what I understand. I actually, just to give a little note in here, and I have some people who were actually there with comments, but I'll start with this now. Basically, right after this happened, the day it happened, I had over 20 students come to me directly and express concern about what had happened. So I'll give a little more information about that now.
Is DeSmet Catholic?
DeSmet is a Jesuit Catholic school. It's in Creve Coeur, which is right up, the road a little bit. So yeah, in his homily, he decided to go from the general approach, which he was talking about the importance of Mass and the difficulties of being Catholic and things like that. And he decided at some point to start throwing in some comments. Some people, the most common term I've been given is a tangent about atheism and atheists. And I'll go into a little bit more exactly what those comments were as we move along. But he decided to go on this negative tangent about atheism and atheists in general. Some of it was specifically aimed at youth who express skepticism or non-belief, and some of it was aimed more generally at non-believers worldwide or community-wide or things like that. So after I got this huge reception from DeSmet students, about 20, and then it just kept flowing in after I posted a Facebook status about it, I wrote a little article for the blog about what had happened. And it got so much traffic on the page that we decided to shop the article to the Post-Dispatch. And the editor in the religion department, Tim, and I worked to try to get it in. Unfortunately, we called the Archdiocese, which is kind of how they know about us now, which is scary at best, I would say. But so they have our name now. But Tim called them and asked them if we could get a copy of the transcript of the homily so we could accurately quote Bishop Rice word for word when writing articles about this. And we were told that the bishop had thrown away the homily. This is a day after he had given the speech, but he had thrown away the homily and couldn't retrieve it again or something like that. He did offer to give an interview, but we were looking for more first source information and things like that. So we couldn't get a copy of the transcript. We asked if they'd like to comment. They obviously said no. We're not, I guess, important enough for them. And that's how we got to here. The current DeSmet editor-in-chief, Mr. McFarland, is also doing a story about the incident, and I'm not sure if the mirror has been released yet, but I think maybe it comes out this week. Does it come out this week?
I think so. Yeah.
All right, it comes out this week. So there'll be another article about it, a little bit different than the one I wrote, and I can give you guys the link to the article at the end. So what exactly happened? Why am I all flustered about a bishop coming to my high school and giving a homily. It's a pretty normal thing at a high school. Justin Dink is not here right now, so we'll skip him. But I have a little article, a little summary of what happened at the event that my friend Alex wrote for me. So here, I can make it bigger, actually. Let's see. And I'm just going to read this pretty much verbatim. So, the tangent, which is referring to Bishop Rice's little section, this is Bishop Rice's little section in his homily about atheism. So, the tangent criticizing atheism given by Bishop Rice came at an unexpected point in an otherwise normal and formal Mass. Bishop Rice's homily centered on the idea that Catholic traditions transcend time and culture. The same Mass celebrated by students was fundamentally the same Mass celebrated by Father DeSmet, the high school's namesake, over a century and a half ago. The homily eventually found its way into discussing the meaning given to a life within the Christian context. A life without belief in God, according to Bishop Rice, has neither essential meaning nor moral guidance. The homily suddenly took a rather mocking tone, as Bishop Rice exclaimed that if he were an atheist, he would have no reason to take account for his actions. He explained that a lack of belief in God meant that one would have no duty to take account for the feeling and well-being of others. Had he been an atheist, Bishop Rice commented, he would have no reason to go work for the homeless every Saturday as he supposedly does. A life without religious allegiance, according to the homily, equated to a life without moral guidance or upbringing. As the tangent continued, all in the same mocking and rather sarcastic tone, the students around me, atheists and devout Christians alike, began to cover their faces, with others staring wide-eyed. There was an undeniable and shared feeling of surprise and disturbance. Bishop Rice's comments on atheism absentmindedly insulted and generalized an entire ideology with obvious, or belief, or non-belief in this case, with obvious minimal exposure to the belief itself, or non-belief. Bishop Rice, too fast. Bishop Rice also very poorly misrepresented the ideas of tolerance and coexistence that his own religion, as well as the DeSmet curriculum and faculty, strive so hard to support and teach. One should also consider the idea that, because Bishop Rice could only contrive of extremely selfish reasoning for being an atheist, his reasoning for subscribing to deism can very easily be equally as selfish and self-centered. So that's Alex's account of what happened at the Mass. I have a few more comments, and then I'll give my brief summary of what happened. One, basically, after I got so much feedback from students, I posted on Facebook, I'm like, what happened today at the Mass, just to see what happened. So these are some of the comments I got. And these are all anonymous because I didn't get permission from anybody to use their name. So, quote, then he went off on a tangent about atheists. He said atheism was the easy way out and how hard it is to be a man of faith. He said atheists were generally very selfish in contrast to the ways people like DeSmet and other men of faith have lived their lives. For example, he said, some of you may even think you're atheists, to the 1,200 population of students at DeSmet. Some other quotes, atheists take the easy way out. Atheists only do things for themselves, whereas Catholics do things for others. He did not win over anybody with his homily. And there's Alex's little thing right there. So these were the general student comments I got. We have atheism being the easy way out. We have atheists have no moral basis for anything. We have generally that they're not very good people. Which is, a very loving thing from the auxiliary bishop of the Archdiocese of St. Louis. And I mean, I don't know what you all are thinking right now, but this was kind of offensive to me, to say the least. Having been open about my atheism for about a year or so now, it's kind of shocking that people have this sort of view of those who choose or come to a position of non-belief. What I'm going to sort of talk about today is why I'm not particularly surprised that this happened, and how this is not an isolated incident. This happens on a worldwide scale, and we're going to get into that a little bit. But I just want to address a few of the points